Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today is Thursday, and Thursday means one thing: we've got an exciting new update from the Space Engineers developers, and you're probably wondering what you'll be getting your hands on this week. Well, I'm sad to say you're not going to be getting your hands on too much, because the developers have released the modules in this update as actually mods instead. And I looked at some of the feedback and the information on this, and people were a little bit upset with this, saying that these should just be part of the game instead of a downloadable file on the workshop. And I agree with them. There's a gyroscope module here, there is a drill module, and there's a thruster increased boost module that would be really effective if they were a core part of the game. But I do see why they've added them on the workshop, so modders can take them apart and develop their own modules from them. But I would like to see them integrated back into the game in future. So let's actually launch these away and see how much better this thrust module is. So before we do that, I'm just going to quickly show you the modules on the HUD here. So you've got the thrust booster, only useful on small ships, increases the thrust output by quite a considerable amount. You've also got the gyroscope module that boosts the effectiveness of the gyroscopes, and finally you've got the drill booster that is going to effectiveness of the drills, of course. So let's launch these and see what difference we've got. So this is just a standard thruster, and this is one with the added module. They both lined up at the same point, and we're going to launch them and we'll see which one hits first. So the one with the special module on the side seemed to beat this one, even though it was lighter and could have had a little bit of advantage in that department. So that's quite interesting to have a look at. Let's continue on. So let's move on to looking at the other two modules. Now first up is the Gyroscope Enhancement module. Now this will make your gyroscopes turn more effective, and if you've been in a survival situation where you've simply not had enough gyroscopes, or you've even done a big creative ship and that ship has not enough power to turn, then you can be in some real problems and you can collide with asteroids and make a right mess of your ship. So of course it's going to be extending the overall size of your module itself. You can see that green shows that that module's connected up to that point, and it's going to be directly affecting that gyroscope that's connected. And you can see on the other side as well, they're using these little rectangle, well not rectangle but square connectors to demonstrate where to stick it on. So say for instance if you try sticking one on the side, it's not going to make any difference, and to just double check it doesn't make a difference, we're going to actually have a look at there. So it's only using 30 watts of power, where these ones should be using a hell of a lot more since they're connected up. Yeah, 120 watts. So it's almost double tripling the actual amount of power that is going to be required. But at the same time, you're getting the advantage of having less gyroscopes. But at the same time, you could technically put 8 gyroscopes in. That would increase the power somewhat closer to the module, but not exactly the power of the module itself, because if you're thinking about it, we're going to get a hell of a lot more turning power out of 4 connected up to the increased boost module rather than 8 in a row there. So something to take consideration when you're building this module anyway. Now moving on to the drill module, we have got a very simple but very effective sort of idea for this. It's going to increase the speed of the drilling as well as the effectiveness of the output of all that it collects. So very cool indeed. The first drawback that is quite visual though is it's going to be 2 blocks long, so it's going to extend the drill further out from the ship unless you manage to tuck this into the design. And another problem is it's not available on small ships, and if you ask me, I don't tend to have any large ships that are used for mining, so it's a little bit of a drawback to that feature as well. So let's have a look at the power output difference. So we go to the menu there, 2.60 at idle, and let's have a look at idle on this one, 2.00. So you can see it's using up a little bit more power, and when that's mining away into the asteroid, it's going to use up a hell of a lot more. So that covered quite a lot of the features of this patch. We're just going to have a look at the scenarios now, and then we'll continue on. So you may notice that there is a mission 2 for Space Engineers now. Build 5 ships and deliver them to a passing trader. So it's quite a nice idea this. It's quite simple but quite effective, and I like the idea how they put a bit of story so you're delivering them to a passing trader. But let's actually have a look at the mission itself. So we've entered into the scenario now, and we've been presented with this construction ship that looks quite interesting, and the idea is we have to head, I guess, to the projector block or projector that's marked in the distance and construct a number of ships, 5 in total. Another fix that has been noted is the character is no longer going crazy, like he's hit his head on some asteroid and his body parts are flying all over the place. It's quite smooth, the transition is good, and the animation seems back on top form. And even if I drop that down there, for instance, you can see how I transition to both without too many side effects of the last week issues anyway. Now let's continue on. So I've came upon the projector over here. It just seems to be the block itself actually just drifting out here. Doesn't seem to actually be too crazy. I've not been attacked yet, but I guess not all the missions are sort of defend and attack scenarios. So let's actually get a little bit of a closer look at this thing. I don't think I can actually zoom in. But I can get a little bit closer and hopefully lock onto this thing with the landing gear at the back. But I wonder from there if you're just supposed to build the actual ships, and why is there a projector block just floating in the middle of space? It does have me wondering exactly what's going on here. So the projector block looks like it's there, and it looks like it's got itself a little bit of a mini mining drone. So I guess you have to build what they particularly want and then deliver them. So let's actually hop out and have a look at this mining drone itself, see what we've got. So yeah, there's a little bit of a mining drone by the look of it. It could be a user created ship. There was information about that in the update, but I'm not too sure. You can see that they've got the projector here, and I guess it's just as simple as hooking that thing up and starting to work away, welding it bit by bit. So it wasn't a super exciting update this week, but still, new features are being added, and that's what I like to see. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you